So this is how we are going to create a journal. Now, do know that I can update this if you have any questions. If there is something that you think is missing, comment down below. I am more than happy to be wrong. I am a human being and I might make mistakes, but this is how I have made, I guess, journals in the past. So please make sure before you watch this, you listen to the episode that has come out just before this one. That is my podcast episode, because that is going to really set the stage for what we have now. So if you haven't listened to it, please go ahead and do so. The first thing that I want to do when I am starting a trading journal, let me just get rid of this, is number one, I want to know the date, right? I want to know the date. That is what I want to have here. You will also note, before I go any further, that I am on Excel. Again, I explained this in terms of why I've chosen Excel to start here on the podcast episode. If you're wanting to share this with multiple people, just go and do an Excel doc. Google do it for free, and it's super, super easy. And it's the exact same stuff. So again, I'm going to want to know the date. And in fact, I might just change this slightly. Number two, I want to know the session, right? So what I would do here is split this into, if I have a session, Asia, London, or NY. Now, there's a really easier way than writing Asia, London, and New York, is just to get time down, right? Because in this, if my session is Asia, right, I know it's going to be between, for me, at least 7 till about 5. So from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. I know that's the time, right? So I know it's going to be within there. So what I would do towards the end of it, let's just say I have an Asia, I have a London, I have a New York, and I have Asia again. When I'm filtering everything, I just press Control A. I'd go over here, I'd right click. I would just format the cells, make sure that they're all on general, right? I need them to be all on general. I need that to happen. And what I'm going to be doing, especially if I get through all of this, is once I do this, I can sort the data, right? I can either sort the data or I can filter it. So sort it or filter it. Now, the best way is to go to sort and go custom sort. Because from here, I can do sort by, and I can literally do column B. And then I can just do cell values. I can do order A to Z. What's that going to do? Now, all of a sudden, all my Asia's on top. Now, yes, I have done something incorrect by highlighting the top. But if I got everything underneath it and I did the same thing, and I just went, okay, sort, custom sort, blah, 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 column B, Asia, London, New York. So when I'm looking for all of this, and we'll be going over this at the end, do not worry if you're going, oh, well, all my data is going to be mixed and jumbled together. I'm not going to know what's what or what's going on. This is really hard for me to see. Do not worry, because again, we're going to be doing weekly and monthly reviews. So this is going to be absolutely fine because we can use this sorting filter. So I have the date, I have the session, and I have the time. These are really, really, really important. Super important that you have all of these down. You could say, do I need the session if I have the time? Yes, it really does make such a difference, especially because you can start to color coordinate and really get into having a beautiful looking journal. It will help when it comes to the end of it. From here, what I'm going to do is profit and loss, right? You might be looking at this and going, okay, why am I having the profit and loss through here? Am I losing? Am I winning? Blah, blah, blah. I want to know this. This is definitely going to be something that I want to know as an overall thing, because when we start to get further and further down the line, I want to see once I've saw everything, how Asia's looking, how London's looking. For example, again, if I have a bunch of Asia session times, or I've gone a little bit further down than I should have, Asia session or entries I should put, right? I want to see if it's -1, we're going to do +2, -3, +8, whatever it is. I want it all to look like this. So when I get towards the end, and that's my last Asia one, right? I can simply just type in sum, right? I could get all of this. And then I go, oh, I'm 8% in profit for Asia. And then I do that for London, and I do that for New York, and I have it week on week on week on week. So it does make sense to have all of this stuff. And I might be stopping and starting quite a lot, but I want to explain each section as I go through how this all makes sense. Because you really do want to split it at this time. You really do want to split it, because sessions are super, super important. Now, again, you don't have to collect any Asia data if you're not going to trade that time. If you're asleep whilst Asia is on, do not collect Asia trades. There is literally no point for you to do that. If you are looking to find out what is going to happen while you're sleeping, then go ahead, because there might be Asia Open, for example, that is extremely profitable, and maybe you'll want to stay up for that, so you only collect the first 2 hours of Asia. Can be really important. I'll also say with this, with the date, you can definitely have it as like the first of the first, let's say 24. Awesome. But I really do like to, and you can split this into either two ways. If I go insert and shift cells to the right, wrong way, I would love to have this as day as well. So Monday, for example. And you, again, will start to see that, Thursdays are really crap for us. Fridays are really good for us, because it's all well and good having the date, but humans love to just simplify their stuff. This is if you want to go back and actually have a look at it. Sometimes with the date, I'll actually make it so small that I can barely see it, because I only really ever look at the date if I want to find this particular trade. And that's a really handy tip, because most people go, okay, yeah, here's the date, I can see that, that's awesome. And you can go, oh, okay. It's really good, for example, if you have loads of losing Mondays, you can see, is it the first? Is it always the first of the month? Is it the last of the month? Is it during the middle? And then you can start to have a look at the dates as well. If it's always the first or whatever in the first week, then you can be looking at that and going, okay, cool. I know I shouldn't be trading at this time. But yeah, this is usually how I'll structure it. I don't usually like to see the date. It takes too much of my time. So again, we do have date. We've got the day, session, time, profit, and loss. Right? That is what we are going to see there. So this is the first section that I am going to have. This is realistically, I'm going to put this here. You don't need to do it. Section 1, right? I have section 1 here. This is super important, right? Because this is your basic stuff. This is what is going to give you that overall arching look at what's going on. Session, time, day, profit, and loss. That gives you your overview. And again, if you've listened to the podcast episode, which you need to do, we're going to have that overarching view of what's going on. Profit and losses, days, that big macro view. And now we're going to start to get into the minor stuff, the wins and the losses. So in section 2, I will literally split it up like this so I can see it easier. 40-minute version of this, where I go into quite extreme detail on how to journal effectively and properly, then you can head over to my Patreon. The link is in the description to this episode. Until then, stay safe, have a prosperous trading day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.